down the sports park after Friday's practice for the Tennessee Titans in training camp. This one was inside the bubble as rain pushed everybody indoors. If you've seen our content we've gotten on any of our social media, it's kind of how that looks differently. But it didn't stop the Titans from getting after it and having a good day of practice and getting a lot of work in. Thursday's work was a lot more walkthrough. Today they did a lot more live action, live football, one-on-ones for wide receivers. We'll talk about that. Also get into Ryan Tannehill and the connection he's making with his new tight end groups. So we'll talk about that here. Flipped off there. So I think we're good now. Should have good sound as we had our mics get turned off from something earlier. Anyway, should be back, ready to go here. Austin Stanley and Sam Phalen live from St. Thomas Sports Park, recapping what we learned today and what we saw today in Titans training camp practice after Friday's practice indoors. The rain pushed us in the bubble, but got some good work done on the field, the Titans did. So Sam Phalen, Austin Stanley, for those who missed early on. All of these Titans Camp Live shows are brought to you by BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. They're located on Lebanon Pike in Donaldson, locally owned and operated by the Allen family for over 55 years. Zach, Jenna, and Judson Allen in the store literally every day. So if you need new floors, new carpet, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com is where to go. So Jordan says little Teddy back in the house. Teddy Bruschi lookalike Sam Phalen here on the show. But Sam, let's start with Ryan Tannehill and his tight ends before we talk about wide receivers versus DBs in the one-on-one reps we saw. But what are you seeing from 17 and the new tight ends?
Well, he keeps going there more and more, and I think it's very clear to everybody in the building that Ryan Tannehill is being very intentional about trying to build a rapport with his tight ends. Two new tight ends, too, in Austin Hooper and Chigakonkwo, not a part of the Titans roster last year, but getting a lot of action so far in 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, keeps going that direction. And then notable as well, Austin, Ryan staying on the field after practice with tight ends coach Luke Steckel, with Chig, with Austin Hooper, and making sure that they're getting some timing down on different things. So I wouldn't be too surprised to go ahead and say that might be a mainstay of the Titans offense this year, or at least something that they're going to look to more often to really try and get an extra bump to the passing game, especially without A.J. Brown or Julio Jones a part of the offense.
Well, I think it's interesting, too, because as there's new pass catchers all over the roster for the Titans, wide receiver, tight end, whatever it might be. But because of Robert Woods' knee situation and because of Treylon Burks' conditioning situation and asthma situation from the months of May and June, there wasn't a lot of rapport that could have been built there in those early parts of the offseason, but it was built with Austin Hooper out of the gates. It was built with Chigakonkwo as we saw him going off in minicamp. And I looked at you, Buck, and I were standing there next to each other towards the end of practice. We're like, all right, so what do you got and what are your notes for today? And I showed you a tweet. It just says, takeaway from today's practice, Chigakonkwo is good.
Good at football.
He's good. I mean, he's pretty good. And like you saw a couple third down periods they were working with the full 11-on-11 where Chigakonkwo catching passes from Tannehill in traffic, getting some run after the catch there. He seems super comfortable. They're using him in a lot of different ways. And so he's a rookie. He's from Maryland. I think Maryland's a good school. So maybe he's a smart guy coming out of college has picked up on the playbook in a lot of different ways. He moves around the formation all over the place. The athleticism is legit. And so I think Chigakonkwo can be somebody that Titans fans can get excited for the deeper we get into camp.
No, for sure. And I think it's something, too, that I think will really benefit Ryan Tannehill and his play style. We know the struggles last year with the offensive line, with some of the pass protection. Tannehill needing to get the ball out quicker, right? Yeah. He just simply has to get the ball out of his hands faster to offset some of the struggles with pass protection, and having a guy like Robert Woods who can run those quick slant routes, as we mentioned, and as well as tight ends who can come off the line, get open right away, and be reliable passing targets. That's everything for Ryan Tannehill. That's everything he's been asking for and looking for years now, and really encouraging to see the two of them building some rapport, building that chemistry, and looking good early on.
And he had it with Jonnu Smith in the first half of 2020 before Lawan gets hurt. Then Jonnu's role has to change a little bit, help pass protect more. And then, he was without Jonnu Smith, and you had to piece together that tight end group last year a little bit. So Austin Hooper, I think having that veteran that understands the game, understands this league, the defenses, and how to manipulate the defenses to get open and be productive is something I'm looking forward to seeing as well. But you got anything to add to that?
Well, I think Austin Hooper, I think, can be very easy to look at some of his decrease in receiving production in Cleveland from his time in Atlanta and think, okay, well, he's not the same tight end he used to be.
Right.
If you were to look at the numbers, Austin Hooper had less receiving yards because he took less snaps as a receiving tight end. He was hand in the ground, block first, and he's versatile enough to do that. So it will be key, just as it was with Jonnu Smith in 2020, to have Taylor Lewan, have Dylan Radins or Nicholas Petit-Frere to be healthy, be successful early on, so that Hooper can then be the vertical threat. But as we've said, Chigakonkwo has really filled that role as well, just in case Hooper needs to be the block first type of guy.
And I've been on this since I want to say in early OTAs or minicamp, that I'm just excited about the athletic versatility that Hooper is a do-it-all tight end. I think Chig in time will be a do-it-all tight end. So there's just so many different formations you can use with the same type of personnel that's not going to tip any hand to the defense there. A to Z Sports here live, Titan Camp live after Friday's practice. They will practice again tomorrow as well. So we'll be doing this Saturday afternoon. Sam and I will. But we are going to get down and break down some of the wide receiver, defensive back, one-on-one reps that happened today for the first time in camp. Now, I see Roy on Facebook said, did Burks cook McCreary all practice? So, look, we put out a clip of Treylon Burks and McCreary going at it in a one-on-one. We'll talk about a lot of the one-on-ones and our takeaways from that. But all of these Titan Camp Live segments are brought to you by Buddy Allen Carpet One in Donaldson. Again, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. I talked yesterday about the in-house professional stallers. They're not the big box company. They take care of you, the customer, because they don't farm it out to other companies like the national people do. They also have the beautiful guarantee at Buddy Allen Carpet One. They know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know what exactly it's going to look like and how it's going to be installed. So check it out for that beautiful guarantee from Buddy Allen Carpet One, their website, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. So, Sam, the first guy we will talk about that stood out in these one-on-ones, wide receivers versus DBs, the rookie 5th-round pick, Kyle Phillips.
Yeah, Kyle Phillips stood out. And I think one-on-ones can be a little bit misleading at times because inherently one-on-ones favor the offense. You know, you cannot cover for that long as a DB on an island with the amount of speed and talent that is at the NFL level. The reason Kyle Phillips stood out was not because he made catches, Austin. It was because he was running fundamentally sound, crisp, clean routes and getting separation that was 10 yards on a comeback route and then running the identical route with a little stutter step that got him 10 yards of separation the other direction downfield. And when you see that from a guy, that's something that is repeatable, that speaks to his footwork, that speaks to just how polished he can be as a route runner. So I think it was really encouraging to see him go full speed, one-on-one, and finally show you what he's capable of doing and bringing to the Titans slot spot.
Well, and like we've heard this about Kyle Phillips. We've seen the UCLA highlights. We saw how awesome his ladder drills were in May and June, right? But this is the first one-on-one we've seen with the wide receivers and DBs where it was showcased right in front of us, clear as day. I mean, he had some guys on skates out there and what he was able to do. The second route that he ran in the clip that we posted on all over our social media, he was wide open. The ball was just severely underthrown, or it could have been an easy touchdown over the top there. So Kyle Phillips definitely showing out. I will mention that Robert Woods is still not participating in these one-on-one drills because of his knee and recovery there. And I don't think Caleb Farley is on the other side of that as well. But then whoever the commenter brought up, Burks versus McCreary, they lined up on the far side of the field. And it was fun to me to see, you know, the 1st-round pick and the 2nd-round pick rookie go at it. Super physical rep. Burks won it, but McCreary was right there all the way. And I'll let you talk about it in a second. My favorite thing to watch about that video is how quickly McCreary closed in back on Burks after Burks made the route cut.
For sure, yeah. Burks won the rep. I'm not sure Burks wins the rep if you have an official there calling offensive pass interference, but it's close for sure. It was definitely physical going both ways, but nice to see them going at each other. And like you said, McCreary, the closing speed was evident there. So especially in one-on-ones, you see that all the time. A wide receiver gets a little physical, creates separation. You saw it happen with Phillips when he broke backwards, and he ended up just being able to skate out to the outside. Roger McCreary didn't let that happen on him at all. Right. He was coming right back, hitting hard, and if the pads were on, there's a chance he knocks out the football there, coming back hard, full speed at a route. So, great to see the two kids. I think everybody saw them lined up on the far side of the field, and everybody kind of perked up a little bit and got ready. So,
yeah, I mean, there's always those matchups, and I'm sure it'll materialize in this camp. But in the past, you've had the AJ versus Logan Ryan, or the AJ or Corey Davis versus Adoree, who are in the same draft class, the same round, who go up against each other. That everybody kind of have their ears peek up a little bit to watch that rep. So two other wide receivers that I thought had good reps throughout one-on-ones in different situations with their career, but Nick Westbrook-Akine and Dez Fitzpatrick, I thought, showed really good route nuance and their ability to use a head nod, a stick here or there to create separation, because neither of those two guys are just the most explosive guys in the world, but they use the nuance of the position to get open.
And I think Nick Westbrook-Akine, too, has been tremendous at tracking the ball downfield, has been something that I've noticed with him a lot. I feel like every time I see a ball go up to him, he is clear to the football. He high points it in his route. Just really efficient movement from a guy downfield, where you can see where he's getting more and more polished here now in another year in this Titans system. And as he's told us afterwards in the press conference, he's more confident than ever. And I think that's apparent in his play when you watch him on the field.
Yeah. NWI was asked, are you more comfortable? And he kind of was like, yeah, but it's actually more of a confidence. And I think that's good. And I think you can see that. What was it? The first play of training camp on Wednesday, deep ball to NWI. Like, who expected that to happen? But he did catch that one, and it still looked pretty good the last few days. Deep ball touchdowns. I saw on the right side, Mason Kinsey, and then Racey McMath made a nice play on a ball, tracking that in the air, coming down the end zone. So those two guys had a couple nice reps for some touchdowns. And then a guy you noticed, Christian Fulton, you kind of led off this segment with, this drill is set up for the defense to lose, but Christian Fulton a little too handsy today.
Yeah, we did notice back-to-back reps from Christian Fulton. Now this coming after a practice where that deep bomb to Treylon Burks was given up on Fulton, and he gave one up to Nick Westbrook-Akine the play before that. Today he had another poor back-to-back where he kind of ripped the jersey down of Cody Hollister. He hit Dez Fitzpatrick a little bit early on a flat route over in the corner. So while the defense isn't necessarily expected to win one-on-one battles or break the pass up, Buck Rising and I were talking just over on the sidelines we were watching. The one thing that you can't do is get penalized, and that's just practicing poor habits. Now, Christian Fulton's body of work speaks for itself and speaks to the comeback, but I would go ahead and say it was not the best period for him, and really going to hope he bounces back.
Yeah, on the one with Dez Fitzpatrick, because it was basically like Christian Fulton lined up, gave him a bunch of cushion in one-on-ones, and Fitzpatrick just did a little one-step turnaround, and Fulton was on him like before the ball was there. Super quick downhill from Fulton, but he got there too early before the ball. If he was a half a step behind where he was in his recognition, then maybe it's either an interception or a blow up or a deflection one way or the other. But just a little over aggressive there from Fulton in the one-on-one drills. But
Juan says it looks like he's being a little bit more aggressive, trying to get his timing down now. I agree wholeheartedly. He just has to get the timing down, right? And you want to see him make that next jump. Well, be aggressive, go get the football, go create turnovers, but you can't be giving up free yards. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on here, making sure Christian Fulton becomes a ball hawk that is not a liability in doing so going forward.
No doubt. So Sam and I will be here again tomorrow for Titans training camp practice number 4. It'll be the last one before they put on the pads. They're off on Saturday, but the pads come on Monday morning, and we're looking forward to that. And don't forget, for all of your flooring needs, hit them up, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. Locally owned and operated. We always love promoting local businesses, and especially family-owned businesses, with the Allen family for over 55 years. You don't do it for 55 years and not know what you're doing and do it at a high level. So check them out. Trust them with your new flooring in Donaldson, or visit BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. That's it for us on a Friday. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.